a WNBA Final Game 2, where, okay, the Las Vegas Aces win Game 1. It's a great game. The two best teams in the league. This was inevitable. Natalie and Reeta, we saw this coming. We knew this is the final everybody wanted. So Game 2, we expect, okay, nice long series back and forth. And, the Aces start off the game with a 19-2 run. 19-2 to start the game.
That was insanity.
The Liberty closed it to 8 at halftime, and then the Aces go on another run in the third quarter to put the game away. They were up 2 games to zip. Reeta and Natalie, tell me what you see and what you hear, because I'm here for it. I love it.
I'm gonna let Nat get hers in, but real fast, okay? Listen, I'm not here to disrespect anybody. It's funny because we always say stuff like that, and then it feels like the next thing that comes is something disrespectful.
So bring it on. So
I'm not.
The disrespect is coming.
No, it's not. This young lady, Asia Wilson, has shown us why this MVP voting system that is currently in place is a joke. It is a joke. She is clearly, even if you didn't have her and you had someone else, the fourth place vote, come on. This is embarrassing. This young lady came out and she scored 26 points or whatever. Meanwhile, the young lady that did win the MVP, 36 minutes, 14 points. I'm sorry, that's nasty business. But when you start looking at what they did from a team perspective, field goals, 52.9% for the Aces versus 36.1, 44.8 3-pointers versus 22.9, free throws, 100% versus 72.7, 100. I ain't even know that. Look, I didn't even know that number existed in sports. But here we are with 100%. This team heard every single thing said about their best player, and they said they just going to take it out on them in the series, and that is exactly what is going on right now. Nat, I'm sorry, you can have the floor, but I just had to get that from my chest.
Oh, no, you don't need to apologize, because you're spot on. And not just everything they said about their best player, but everything that they said about the team in general. Oh, the Liberty went in there and beat them on their home court, and it wasn't even close. And, seeming like the Liberty had their number, and just the way everyone talked for the season. And, we've at length talked on this show a lot about the MVP race and what I personally felt was like a bias, because Asia has been the MVP the last 2 seasons, and it just felt like we see this in the NBA, right, Holley? The voter fatigue, comments were made like, oh, come on, we need to spread it around. It's like it felt like there was just a desire to want to give Stewie a second, because there's this Asia Stewie thing. But like, it was really hard to say that she was more valuable to her team. And again, Stewie's an incredible player, but it was just like, yes, for her to come in third, to receive a 4th place vote, it was all very disrespectful. And again, I just want to make clear that investigation of the 4th place vote, unofficial investigation, I'm saying, is still going on, because
we don't know who did it.
We don't know who did it, because they don't have to say, like on the NBA, it's not, set.
That's lame.
And even with the NBA, lame. Only the 1st place vote comes out. Well, remember, like with the NBA, when the Carmelo Anthony thing happened with LeBron James, Gary Washburn came out and told us, but like it wasn't something he had to disclose. And
give it to him. Give him. Even though I disagreed with him at the time. Listen, give him credit for coming out and explaining himself. He thought Carmelo took a team with some marginal players and got them. I think at that year there was like 55, 56 wins.
Right.
And Carmelo played great. He said, look, I think he deserved the MVP vote. Most people didn't agree with him, but he still put his name on it. You're going to vote Asia Wilson.
And stood on it. And that's the most important thing. Somebody's chickening out.
Yeah, the issue though with this case versus that is that was the difference in history in terms of someone getting a unanimous. This was the difference in costing someone an MVP, because many people do feel like it was strategically done. Because like when you retally the votes, because the way it's a first, second, third, fourth, fifth place vote, right? It sort of bumped her from even being able to be MVP. So people are still upset about that. And Asia herself said, look, she doesn't need extra motivation to play like she does. We know that, but it's there. She talks about how much it hurt her. Dawn Staley has been vocal about it. Becky Hammon, as you can hear, is vocal about it every moment that she can get. And so what she is doing, I was waiting. Last week when we gave our predictions, I predicted an Aces win. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought that it was going to be a sweep, but I said Asia is going to get back for that MVP snub. And she's going to do it with dominance, because to me, she's been on another level this season. Like, to me, there should be, as of right now, she doesn't have to win. There should be no debate about who the best player in the WNBA is. And I'm so happy for this finals performance that she is having. But what I also really like about Asia is the way she gives credit to her teammates. She never tries to take the credit alone. She's been there hyping up Jackie Young. And Jackie Young right now is in the finals MVP conversation. That's how incredible of a playoffs that she's having. I mean, it's just their quad. I mean, their foursome. They are just. I mean, and I don't want to leave out Kia Stokes, but like their best four players: Asia Young, Chelsea Gray. Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. They are incredible. I mean, look at what Jackie's doing over these last two games. It's incredible, and it's been so tremendous. I like dominance. So some people are saying disappointed. They're already starting to make excuses, but I like dominance. You should. So now I do. I saw your feed, Holley, and I do want them to go back and sweep. It's going to be hard. The closeout game's always the hardest. Now you're back on the Liberty's court. They're going to have the home court. It's going to be very hard, but I want it. I want the sweep, and I want the dominance.
It would be, you want the dominance, and you know what, Reeta, look at Natalie calling for it. Come on now.
I want it.
You sense the blood in the water, and now you're just trying to seal the deal here and just kind of end the WNBA Finals. But I would say this about Asia Wilson. Yes, she's a great player. We saw the resume. We know what she has done in this league. She didn't have to apologize to anybody. She didn't have to explain herself to anybody. However, when you get that fourth place vote, you don't need it for motivation. Fourth place vote for the MVP. When you feel like you should have won it, and you are facing the player who you feel like took that MVP away from you, you don't need it for extra motivation, but it refocuses you. It sure does help you lock in even more. I would have been locked in anyway, but now, oh, wait a minute, I'm not taking a minute off. I'm not taking a possession off. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to be bothered. She played at an MVP level, obviously, all season. Now she's taking it up another notch. And
which is
this,
what the greats
this
do.
reminds me of, it's what the greats do, right? So that's why I love that clip that we played at the beginning. We played that about a month ago. Paul George, a month and a half ago, Paul George on his podcast, talking with Asia, and she said, hey, I want my name in there. You're going to talk about the W. I need to be a part of this thing. And she was so emphatic when she said it, and we felt it. That's why that clip stood out. It's great insight. Shout out to Paul George. It's great insight into her mentality and her psyche. And you know what it reminds me of? Michael Jordan, to this day. Jackie McMullen is a friend of mine. Jackie McMullen, always, every time she ran into Michael Jordan would say to Jackie, yeah, I remember you voted for Karl Malone for MVP over me in 1998. Oh, I remember that. You think Karl Malone is better? No, Michael, no. Okay, all right. And who did they fight? Who did they play? So Jordan lost MVP. He lost the MVP to Karl Malone. The Bulls played the Jazz. in the NBA Finals, and Jordan does Jordan things and wins it. And it's just it's not even the back of his mind, it's front of mind. And the same thing is happening with A'ja Wilson. This is on her mind. You heard Becky Hammond. Hammond, Natalie?
Yep.
She said, rest with that. Rest on that. Oh, the whole team. And Natalie, to your point, this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll kick it back to you.
No problem.
You like that A'ja Wilson gives credit to her teammates. Because she gives credit to her teammates and is so great and so humble, her teammates then take on her slights.
Yep.
And like, oh, we got you. Oh, we got you. Oh, really? Her team, she got a squad that is ready. They're locked in as well. This thing is over. I'm telling you, it's over.
Yeah. And listen, I don't want to, I know, Reeta, I know you probably have another word, but I just want to say, not only is she playing the player who got the MVP award, but she's also playing the player who has a signature shoe, which none of us can understand when she does not. Okay, no disrespect to Sabrina, but this has also been like a big conversation. You had kids last night at the game wearing shirts that say, please give A'ja her signature shoe. Yes, thank you, LeBron, for getting some custom sneakers of yours made for her. But why doesn't A'ja Wilson have a signature shoe? Why is she not on the cover of 2K? You know, this is a much deeper conversation, and I'm not going to take it there right now because we want to focus on what's happening right now in the current. But the WNBA has a problem, and it's existed. And as they begin, but as they continue to grow, as they're going to that next level, as women's sports all around is growing, they're going to have to do a better job of coverage of their players, of their Black players, making sure that they highlight them. There's this perception that they're not as marketable as other stars. And that has gone to many WNBA greats being overlooked. It has to end. We are going to end that, and we are not going to overlook A'ja Wilson, okay? That is why I tweeted last night, y'all should have never played in A'ja's face, because you know what? This is what happens when you play. When you play in A'ja Wilson's face, that is what happens. I'm sorry, Reeta, go ahead.
No, and I mean, everything that you said is completely valid. And I think that A'ja might be the person that's not going to allow people to play in her face. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see sometime soon that she does get her signature shoe, because you mentioned Michael Jordan. I mean, she has the same type of mentality of, I got to show everybody who the HBIC is, and it's me. And I love that instinct about her. I love the fact, look, hey, I ain't want to say the actual words, but y'all get the actual acronym, right? But ultimately, what it boils down to is that people like A'ja, people like Michael Jordan, those types of people, they don't necessarily need motivation because they're already phenomenal players, but they are so tuned in and they're so locked in and what their craft is and how to be perfect in their craft that any type of slight to them is considered a form of disrespect, which is a new type of motivation. The one thing I think that Nat and you also, Holley, mentioned is the fact that I think that her teammates felt that same type of energy as well. They probably feel like she slighted and that she should have deserved to be the MVP. So they're leveling their game up for her as well as themselves. And you already heard Becky Hammond say, look, she probably would have had more points had I just not taken her out of the game. Well, you laid it down the smackdown. Exactly. You really need her there. But ultimately, she would have been more dominant had her coach not taken her out, but they didn't need to because the team has rallied around her. She's obviously the leader of this team, but they've elevated their game because they know that they got to win this for her too, man. Because at the end of the day, as great as a player, like you said, Nat, as Stewie is, she is not the MVP.
You know what?
Reminds me of? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What does it remind you of? I want to hear this.
Do you remember when, like, with the Warriors, when they were starting to build what they built in the NBA? But you remember that season where, like, Steph Curry didn't play a lot of fourth quarters because they were just, like, blowing teams out? That's the level of dominance that you were seeing from the Aces. So A'ja Wilson won the MVP last year. Her stats are better than last year, and she's not even playing a minute more. She's playing like point something more, right? Like 0.8 more, something like that. But she's playing much less minutes than Breanna Stewart did. She's playing much less minutes than Alyssa Thomas did. And again, I'm not trying to discredit them, but she upped her game. It wasn't just like, oh, she repeated those stats. She upped her game. And let's remember they lost Candace Parker. So, and now in the postseason, she has upped her game, right? And so it again, like what she is doing right now is so incredible. She's not just like the best player currently in the WNBA, but she is doing what she said. When it's all said and done, and like she needs to be at the top, she needs to be on Rushmore, and she's gonna make that case if she continues at this rate.
Well, here's my final point on it. Look, you speak of Natalie being on the top, being at the top and on the top. A'ja Wilson, I mean, realistically, she is where she can go higher, I guess, is where she's already been before. That is back to being an MVP. She probably should be next year should be going for her third straight, back to back to back. So she can go higher next year. She can next year attempt to win a championship again. I believe they're going to win it. The Liberty have something to say about it, but I believe the Aces are going to win it. So that would be back to back to back championships. Now for Becky Hammon, I made this point before, and curiously, I had some Wi-Fi problems as I made that point. I was on Zoom that day. I had some Wi-Fi problems. So I'm going to try this again. One more again. I'm going to try
Zoom. I'm here on Zoom.
Okay. Becky Hammon played in the WNBA. Becky Hammon was an assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, a championship organization with a Hall of Fame coach. Becky Hammon is a Hall of Fame player. Becky Hammon won the championship last year as a coach with the Las Vegas Aces. She's going to win the championship this year as a head coach of the Las Vegas Aces. She has been on job interviews for NBA teams, but they playing around. They ain't serious. They're playing around. There are people that she's been on staff with as assistants. They were assistants together. Some of them are on their second head coaching jobs. She was an assistant with Ime Udoka. He's on his second job now. She was an assistant with James Borrego, who's on his second job now. So what's up, NBA? What's the excuse? This woman is ready to be a head coach in the National Basketball Association. Go ahead and do it. It takes one team. I was going to say courageous team, but no, not even courageous. It just takes a smart team to go ahead and make that decision. She should be at another level as well. So I think the whole team has massive chips. They got massive chips on their shoulders because they have been overlooked. Everybody's got a story where they can say, yeah, I'm not getting my flowers like I should.
I just want to say though, like for the whole like Becky to the NBA and stuff like that, it's like she's qualified to be an NBA coach, and she's deserving of the money that the NBA plays. But as we continue to see women's sports grow and we continue to see the WNBA grow, hopefully there will no longer be a need for someone to leave the W to go to the NBA and have it just be viewed as like a higher level, because they're both professional leagues. It's really just the monetary difference.
I was absolutely going to say the same thing.
Hey,
I mean,
look,
obviously we know that there's a difference. Yeah, sure.
And forget about the product on the court. The monetary difference. Hey, listen, those dollars, they add up now. They add up.
No, I'm not trying to dismiss it at all. But I just want to get to the place where it
Make
doesn't
it clear.
have
I got
to
you.
be. Yeah, that's all. That's
fair
all.
Point.
But no,
totally
sure,
fair point.
I'm in line with you. I know you're gonna wrap. I saw that you said you think it's a sweep. I hope it's a sweep, but I just want to send a quick message to the Liberty. Sabrina, you need to step your game up. I mean, Stewie needs to do more too, but Sabrina has been absent this entire series. And if we're going to keep it a buck, Jonquel Jones has been their most consistent player throughout this postseason. And without her, I don't even know where they would be right now. So like, yeah, you two need to keep it together. They need to get it together, but especially Sabrina, okay? Because right now, Kelsey Plum is out there running circles around her, and Jackie Young, they are attacking her. They are targeting her, and Jackie is so strong. She can finish through contact, and they got no answers. And Sabrina, when her shot isn't falling, she lets it take her completely out of the game. So, and Holley, you know how I feel about propping players up, and then when they don't back it up. So all I'm saying is all the Sabrina 2K cover, Sabrina signature shoe. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
All right.
She
All right,
said
they're
she
taking
ain't
it back to
living up
New
the
York,
hype.
though.
She said, "Don't believe the hype." In the words of Public
It's
Enemy,
a-
don't believe the hype. That's
It's
what
a
she said.
sequel. As an equal, can I get this through to you? Anyway, don't let me start rhyming up in here. Oh my goodness. Natalie, thank you so much. Great stuff as usual. I love this. I love this. This is
letting me
great
crash
for
the party first segment. Woo!
Hey, listen, it's great for sports. It's great for all sports. It's great for women's basketball. This has been an incredible year. What an incredible, significant year in women's professional basketball. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that that the two best teams in the league are fighting for it. And although it was an injustice with the MVP, that conversation and that debate is healthy for the sport as well. So, hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.